Hey, this is Ride With Me Wednesdays. We're going to sit and chat about whatever while I'm on my way to work. This live is going to be a little bit shorter than most Ride With Me Wednesdays because I have things to do. The last time I got on, we talked a little bit about tech, about smart glasses, which was a really good, interesting conversation for me because I like glasses, I like technology. I like anything to deal with kind of like changing the future, making the future better, anything like that. When it has to do with personal opinions or personal health or making life a little bit easier for our generations to come, I'm all for it. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there has been a huge shift in social media. It's more about interests and things of that nature as opposed to actually connecting with people. Which I mean, one is good for business, but it kind of takes the social out of social media. Which again for business is good, but if you're trying to connect with people, it's getting less about that and more about business. But what are you guys up to today? I am headed to work. If you guys don't know, my name's Rashad. I go by the Fit Optician. I am a licensed optician, meaning I sell glasses and contacts. That's my profession. Been doing it for about 18 years. And I probably get on live quite often and talk about who I am, where I come from, what I do. Simply because I get a lot of new followers or new subscribers or new watches from different people every week. So, I like to let people know a little bit about me, who I am. And if you're hopping on, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out. Help us push this message throughout social media. Help people change their lifestyle, change their their minds, change the ways of thinking about physical health and mental health as well. My first post this morning was about mental health. It was talking about how we will prioritize going to the gym, working out our bodies, taking care of our bodies, but a lot of people negate their mental health. And I think mental health is very important, especially when it comes to men, because if you're from the generation I grew up in or the generation before, you were kind of taught to suppress your mental health, not talk about things, just suck it up, walk through it, man up, don't show your feelings. But I noticed that once I started going to therapy, yes, I do go to therapy, it helps me better understand the world around me, and it better helps me understand the decisions that I've been making throughout my life. So I definitely think that people, especially men, should go to therapy, do some form of therapy, and talk about their problems, because going to your friends, getting advice from your friends is not always the answer. Like, they can sit here and listen to you, possibly give you good advice, maybe give you bad advice, but you'll never know because those are your friends. Some people just gonna tell you what you want to hear, just because they don't want to upset you. They won't give you the practical ways of figuring out your needs as far as in whatever you're talking about or if you need. It's just I guess it is good for an ear, but like sometimes you gotta take those thoughts or those conversations with a grain of salt. So I just prioritize going to therapy when I can, and work on my mental health as well. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's your day going? See? Hola, ¿cómo está? Another thing when it comes to mental health, like when I first started going through my journey, learning about my triggers and things like that, like it helped me put in perspective some of the things that I dealt with, some of the things that I did as I'm growing up and becoming a man. Like, for one, I had a problem with relationships. I didn't, for whatever reason, trust women. I had a problem with commitment. I used to be in these streets, if you know what that means. Like, and I never thought about connecting all those feelings, all those emotions towards women, the relationship that I had with my mom. Like, me and my biological mom really kind of don't have a relationship. Doesn't make her a bad person, doesn't make me a bad person. It's just not there, for whatever reason. And I don't want to go into that situation unless somebody asks. If somebody asks, then I'll go into that situation. But That's the reason why, like, I had a trust issues with women. I always thought it was probably something that either that person did or I did at the moment, or whatever the relationship situation is, like any of that. I thought that's what it was, but no, it really has something to do with me and how I viewed relationships with women. With women because of my mama. So I wouldn't have never known that or never thought about that or put that together if it wasn't for therapy. They should give you really practical things that you can consider throughout life. And with that experience with that therapist, I learned of one, what was that trigger, and two, ways to kind of, when that flares up and when I'm having those thoughts, to kind of talk through it or work through it or think through it. Because it puts that to the forefront. It's not necessarily the person that I've been dealing with. It's probably because of something I've been through in my past. So just really good insight, just going to therapy. There was something else I wanted to talk about while I was rambling about that. Let me think. It didn't have something to do with mom. It had something to do with therapy. Oh yeah, I know what it was. So if you believe, I don't technically believe in zodiac signs. I don't necessarily deal with that type of astrology and stuff like that. Like, I don't. It's just not something I'm interested in. However, my whole life I had been told that Tauruses, I'm a Taurus technically. I don't want to get into all that, but by definition, my birthday's in April, so I'm a Taurus, which that's not necessarily accurate now because of the way the world works, but that's neither here nor there. But I was always told that Tauruses are arrogant. We have anger problems, we have anger issues or whatever, and that's something that maybe not as opposed to just being a Taurus, but I was told that all my life, from way back when I was younger, that I had an attitude. So that feeling, that person was kind of like, I guess you say, manifested. Like, when I was younger, I wasn't always the nicest person. Like, I wouldn't be out here talking to people. I didn't like people when I was younger, and that lasted all the way up into college. I mean, I had friends. I had a couple people that I was cool with, I rock with when you got close to me. But for the most part, people, I just didn't associate with people. Like, in college, I walked around with my headphones in because I didn't like college students. I felt like they all was childish, immature, had a bad attitude towards people. Like, even being kids, like, I was a very serious kid. I did not like, for the most part, I didn't like roasting, I guess you can call it. I don't know what y'all call it these days, but I didn't like roasting. I didn't like talking about people. I like to be by myself. I just didn't have the time for it. And because of that, I was labeled as a mean person, or I had a temper. Like, I was the type of person that if you push me far enough, I'm not gonna ask questions. I'm not gonna, go back and forth with you. I'm just gonna be ready to fight. And that's just how I was, how I grew up. Especially being from where I was from. I was from the hood. If you know anything about Arkansas, gang banging in Little Rock, I grew up from that hood. I grew up from that era. So if that resonates with you, then you understand. But so because of that, I got labeled as that person that was mean, and some of that is genetics. Like, I act a lot like my dad. My dad is kind of the same way. He just kind of tell it how it is, no sugarcoating, and I'm still that type of person. I don't like sugarcoating things. But it could come across as mean. It could come across as, I feel like I'm always right, which I don't believe I'm always right. It could come off as being arrogant. But, in order for me to understand or hear people telling me that, it took me going to therapy to understand where they were coming from, Like, anytime somebody say I was being mean or this and this, I would say, no, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just speaking the facts. I'm just telling you how it is. But there's a way to deliver those messages without coming across as harsh or as mean. So, when I'm having a conversation with people, and this also made me a better manager. When I'm having those conversations with people, and they feel like, or if I ever put myself in a situation, because I normally don't. I'm normally okay with catching it before I get to that point. I mean, except with my wife, because my wife, honestly, she sees the worst in me, which I hate, but it's all good. She understands me, and she can correct me whenever she feel like she needs to. But when I get to those situations where I'm coming across as mean or coming across as being too direct, I can pull back before it happens. You know, I can check myself like, hey, you're giving too much, you're being too mean, or you're coming across harsh, even though your message is not trying to. So I wouldn't have learned those skills if I wouldn't have went to therapy, and if I wouldn't have learned how to check myself before those situations arises. So this whole talk is literally about, you know, going to therapy, man, taking care of your mental health. Like, I think that's very important. I think more men should definitely dig into mental health, talk about their issues, talk about their their thoughts, and it helps them, you know, think clearly, be a better person on the inside and out. And this topic is, okay, we're gonna bring this back to technology. Before I ended up talking about therapies, didn't even know I was gonna talk about therapy today. It just came out. But before we talked about therapy, I got to the point of talking about therapy. I was talking about technology. So there are ways you can utilize technology to be a personal lifestyle coach. And if you're new to ChatGPT, I know how you feel like technology can be scary. Especially AI can be, you know, a little daunting. But I really feel like if used correctly, and most people I feel like is going to use it correctly, it can be a help. It can be a benefit. There are some things I would stay weary of, but for the most, AI is there to help you. So if the more you feed into ChatGPT, that's the only one I've used so far. I've used Gemini a little bit. I haven't really dove into it, but I know for a fact with ChatGPT, they have a lifestyle coach aspect of it. So when there are times where you feel like you need to talk to somebody and you need some really good practical advice, you don't have the friend or family member to be there to give you sound advice and not gonna like gas you up or give you whatever information just to appease you, hop on ChatGPT. Like, it's there to learn you, learn your personality, learn your likes, learn your dislikes. It's literally there to help you in the therapy world. Does it replace therapy? No. I don't believe any type of AI is going to replace therapy. However, I do think that it can be a buffer between the times that you need somebody to talk to and the time you can actually get that one-on-one time with your therapist. And reason being is because there are going to be some days where you just need to crash out, or you feel like you're going to crash out and you need somebody to talk to. And the next person that you normally talk to is either probably crashing out too, having their moment, can't talk, or you can't really trust them to give you good sound advice in this moment because of something that they did, something they've been through, or they're experiencing, you know. So I definitely recommend using AI to help you whenever you need it. And I really feel like that this piece of technology is gonna pretty much help the world. Excuse me. Hey, how's it going? How's your day going? I promise, in like every time that I get towards the end of my live, I start getting people saying hi and people want to comment. I was just talking about therapy, how therapy is much needed, I feel like, and how it can be a light to the people. You headed to work? How's your day going? You caught me at the tail end. I was just about to hop off. If you don't know who I am, my name's Rashad. I'm the Fit Optician. I go by the Fit Optician on social media. I have a lifestyle app geared to helping people live a healthier lifestyle. Must be nice. I've been up since like 4. Helps people get live a healthier lifestyle. I'm also an optician, meaning I sell glasses and contacts. So I usually get on live and I talk about things that interest me, things that interest people. I know you're just waking up, so I'm not going to ask you what interests you. It might be a little bit too early for that. Just kind of like the respect people place, space and time. But that's who I am. That's what I'm about. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming and subscribe to the channel, man, to get this work, I guess you can say. Like, I'm a type of person that can give it to you real. I don't like to sugarcoat anything. and I give a lot of information away for free. I've been an optician for 18 years. I've been coaching, personal training, that type of situation for about 18 years too as well. So if you like it, subscribe to the channel. I usually go live if you're tuning in. I usually go live. I go live a lot, like at least 4 or 5 times a week. Most of my workouts that I do live are kind of random. I'll just hop on while I'm recording videos. I'll go live, and then also every Wednesday I do Ride With Me Wednesdays. Most times on Wednesdays, I'm on my way to work around this time. I think starting probably in the next couple weeks, I'm gonna have to move the time back a little bit, so it's gonna be a little bit earlier, just because my work schedule is gonna change a little bit. But you can always catch me whenever I'm hopping on, and we can have a vibe. So 15 minutes in, I gotta go. I got to pull up. So y'all guys have a good day, and remember, prioritize your mental health. And we'll see you again next Wednesday. Peace.